Okay, so today we're going to do a comparison between Lakeland and Winter Haven. Both of them sit about 30 minutes apart. They're both about equidistant between Orlando and Tampa, kind of, sort of. Winter Haven's a little bit closer to Orlando. Lakeland's a little bit closer to Tampa, but there's not that much of a difference between the two. And they both have their own unique style. So let's start with Lakeland. Lakeland back in 2020 was voted one of the fastest growing cities in the country. And so we've seen a huge development in Lakeland. Now, I have lived in Lakeland since 1988, and I've seen Lakeland grow. I've seen the population grow, and I've seen the evolution of Lakeland over the years. It's a fantastic city, but it may or may not be for you. So one of the things that we need to look at with Lakeland is there's a lot of history in Lakeland, whether it's the Frank Wright architecture or Lake Mirror, where you have this beautiful archways on a bridge, and you've got probably 38 lakes in Lakeland. They call it the Swan City because almost every lake has swans. And there's a lot to love about living in Lakeland. There's also some things that you may just want to be aware of. So when it comes to Lakeland as a whole, you've got two sides to Lakeland. And I've got another video that I'll post right here that I think will help you to kind of understand that a little bit more. But if you were to look at Lakeland on a map and you were to take US 92, which is Memorial Highway, and you were to go north, that would be North Lakeland. If you were to go south from 92, that would be South Lakeland. The vibe or the style of each area, north and south, is completely different. And so North Lakeland is going to be a little bit more rural, even though there's, there's shopping there. There's, everything from Sam's Club to a JCPenney. There's a North Lakeland Mall, all of that. But when you actually look at it as a whole, it's more rural than the South Lakeland would be. South Lakeland would be considered more suburban. Okay. North Lakeland has the Lakeland Square Mall, which used to be the central hub for Lakeland. That was where everybody went back in the day. Lakeland Square Mall has kind of fizzled out. The only thing that we do at Lakeland Square Mall is we go to Cinemark Theaters. We absolutely love Cinemark Theaters. They've got a $9.99 deal a month where you can get points, I think is what they call them. And if you want to use the points, you can use them for movie theater tickets. You can use them for popcorn and sodas and concessions and all of that. And so it's really a cool way to go. Great date night, which, by the way, is what my wife and I use it for a lot ourselves. Anyhow, are you thinking about making a move to Lakeland or Winter Haven? Then if you are, let me know. I'd love to help you figure out which one is going to be better for you, or if neither one of them, and you want to look at Bartow or Auburndale or Lake Wales or Lake Alfred or wherever, Tampa, Orlando, I've got you covered. So if you'd like to have a discussion with me, just go to talkwithvince.com and get on my calendar, and let's see if we can figure out how to help you. All right, let's keep going. The Cinemark Theaters is fantastic. The mall has kind of fizzled out. There's not a whole lot going on there. And when you get further down into North Lakeland, like Kathleen Road, Duff Road, there's a lot of new communities that are coming up. So eventually there'll be more things that will happen in North Lakeland. They'll probably revitalize a lot of that area because of all the new communities that are, popping up all over the place. And it's not like you don't have stuff there. So you still have a Sam's Club, you have a Best Buy, you have a lot of, neat shops and restaurants and whatnot, but the feel is different than South Lakeland. So as you get past, like, south of 92, now you start getting into the downtown area, Munn Park. That area there in downtown around Munn Park is kind of a hub for going out to eat. Harry's Bar and Grill is there. There's monthly events like the First Fridays event that happens every month. There's a weekly farmers curb market. There's coffee shops, there's wine bars and local boutiques and restaurants. It's just a really neat place to go and check out. Now, the further you go down south from downtown, you start to get into the Lake Hollingsworth area. Now, Lake Hollingsworth has a 2.7 mile paved trail that goes around it. And so you'll see people riding bicycles, you'll see them rollerblading. I mean, it's just a great place to go and exercise. On one side of Lake Hollingsworth is Florida Southern College, and on the other side of Lake Hollingsworth, there's homes that start around the 6s and 8s and work their way up from there. Around Lake Hollingsworth, down Edgewood and whatnot, there are homes that are probably built in the 50s and 60s, and those homes are going to be selling somewhere around 350 to 400,000. Maybe a little bit more or less because the market has cooled down a little bit. The point here is it's a really nice area, and if you move further south from there, you're going to notice that you're going to see more upscale communities, and you're going to see more shops and restaurants. You're going to see more of the things that you would be accustomed to if you were looking for some place like to live in Orlando or Tampa. It still has that, I'm not going to call it a country feel to it, but it's very suburban, okay? That's just the way that it works out. Now, as far as Lakeland home prices go, we've seen the prices calm down a little bit over the past year and a half. So at one point, Lakeland was at about the 350 range, believe it or not. It has now gone down to about the 335 range. So median value on a home in Lakeland is about 335. Affordability-wise, very affordable compared to the rest of the country. Now, when it comes to things like property taxes and homeowners insurance, they're going to be different because homeowners insurance on the coast, where we've had all the hurricane issues, are going to be much higher, but homeowners insurance is blown up anyways. I mean, there's just nothing you can do about that. So homeowners insurance and property taxes have gone through the roof no matter how you look at it. Property taxes in Lakeland and some of the new communities can go $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year. Some of the smaller communities where the homes are of a smaller value, they can be $2,000, $3,000 a year. And so you have to kind of weigh what you want in terms of housing to how much you want to spend. All right, so when it comes to things that you can do in Lakeland, aside from going downtown and drinking or going out to eat or going to the movies, there's a lot of things that you can do aside from that. The Circle B Bar Preserve is a great place to go hiking, bird watching. If you're, how can I put this? I don't want to say if you're afraid of alligators, because nobody's really that brave around alligators. But if you want to see alligators in a natural habitat, and do it on a kind of a protected walkway where you're kind of sitting above the water, it's a great place to go. You can take pictures of the gators as they swim around, and there's tons of them there. There's also one behemoth gator that you will occasionally see walking around. He doesn't bother anybody. Stay away from him, but you get some great shots of him. Then you've got Loyce Hart Park. Okay, so I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say this one time. I've said it on another video. I'm going to say it again. Loyce Hart Park is a terrible name. I know that they gave money and did a lot of good for the park, but that park has been called Carter Road for as long as I can remember. If you want to fit in, call it Carter Road. Carter Road Park, to all of us that have been around for a long time, it is a fantastic mountain biking and hiking park. And so there's probably, there's miles and miles of mountain bike trails, and it attracts mountain bikers from all over the country. If you're a mountain biker and you're very skilled, this is a great park for you. If you're not that skilled, you'd better be careful, because there are 20 and 25-foot drop-offs right into the water with trails probably as wide as my hand. And so it's a great park to go to. If you really know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, make sure you talk to somebody who's local and find out which trails you should stick to so that you don't end up killing yourself, because you can easily do that there. but it's a fantastic park. There's pavilions, there's baseball fields, there's places for the kids to play. I think you'd really enjoy it. There's even Frisbee golf. So, yeah, fantastic. All right, let's talk about education. And so when it comes to technology and education, I'm a huge proponent. Florida Polytechnic University is one of the state-of-the-art universities in the tech field, and they are right there in Lakeland. There's also SunTrax, which is a state-of-the-art test site for autonomous vehicles. And so that is really cool, and that's right in Lakeland. Now, when it comes to other universities and colleges, we already talked about Florida Southern, which is Florida Southern University, but there's also Southeastern University, which my wife was an alma mater of. She graduated from there years ago. That is a Christian university that is pretty much in the central portion of Lakeland. And so those are the two biggest things there. Let's move on to Winter Haven now. Oh, wait, before I do that, let's talk a little bit about healthcare in Lakeland. And so in Lakeland, you have one major hospital right now, but one coming up. And so the major hospital in Lakeland is Lakeland Regional Health. Lakeland Regional Health is a huge hospital with a women's center and an infant center and cancer research center. I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff going. It's a great hospital. I've had to go there myself. My wife has had to go there herself, and they've taken really good care of us. Now, the up-and-coming hospital that's being built as we speak is Orlando Health. That's going to be another huge hospital in Lakeland. There's also Advent Health that has moved in with clinics and whatnot. There's just a number of different facilities if you're concerned about healthcare, or if you've got somebody in your family that you're concerned about healthcare if they move in with you. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about Winter Haven. Winter Haven has a completely different feel to it. Winter Haven was known at one point for Cypress Gardens. Cypress Gardens was this beautiful cultivated garden that you could walk through. There were what they call Southern belles that were dressed in old Southern belle, outfits with, how can I put this? They had that Southern charm kind of a thing going on, and they would stay in character as they walked around Cypress Gardens, and you could take pictures with them. They had ski shows. I think that was the other thing that they were really famous for. But over the years, the gardens and the ski shows kind of fizzled out, and eventually that property stayed vacant for a number of years before it was purchased by Legoland. Now Cypress Gardens is actually Legoland. And Legoland has a number of different attractions there between Legoland itself, the water park that's in Legoland, and then the Peppa Pig section of Legoland. Now, tickets like day passes for Legoland, depending on the level, if you want one park, two parks, or three, they range from about $149 per pass to about $350, and then they've got some other money savings, kind of giveaways or whatever you want to call them, that you can look at taking advantage of. But it's a great place if you want to take the kids just to the water park for the day and just have some fun during the summer and just relax. My wife did that when my kids were little. She probably did that once a month. It was fantastic. The Peppa Pig attraction is cool for the little ones. And then there's some new things like an aquarium that they're building and some roller coasters and whatnot that they're putting in. So they're continuing to develop Legoland and make it better and better. And so that's really a major attraction right now in Winter Haven. Now, Winter Haven has a completely different feel to it because it has always been a retiree community. Up until the past, I'm going to say probably 10 or 15 years, we've seen a lot more families move in. We're seeing a lot of new construction going up, whether it's new homes, townhomes or apartment complexes. So we're seeing a lot of people coming into the Winter Haven area. Now, as far as the market goes, housing market in Winter Haven, the median sales price for a home in Winter Haven is about $300,000. So it's a little bit lower than Lakeland, and you're going to find that the cost of living is about the same, roughly. And you're also going to find that property taxes are probably a little bit lower as well. Insurance, I doubt that there's going to be much of a difference between the two. Now, when you look at the types of homes that are there, there's still this huge mishmash of homes. So you've got homes that were built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, just like you do in Lakeland. You've got homes that are brand new or between, the 70s, 80s, and all the way up to 2004 and 5. And so you have a lot of opportunities there in Winter Haven. Now, the way that Winter Haven sits is a little odd, okay? And so you have South Winter Haven, which is the area around Legoland, and that's the Cypress Gardens Boulevard area. And Cypress Gardens Boulevard because it used to be very much famous for Cypress Gardens. And so that whole area in South Lakeland has a completely different vibe to the area further north around 92. And so when you look at that area, it's a little bit more commercial, a little bit more industrial. Homes there are going to be a little bit older, probably 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe 70s or so. Homes down south are going to be 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and above. Now, when you look at the difference between Lakeland's downtown and Winter Haven's downtown, the difference is pretty stark. Winter Haven's downtown is not quite Mulberry, okay, but it's still a very small town feeling downtown. It's a small downtown. You're not going to probably get lost in it no matter what you do. There's not a whole lot going on, but there are events every week in the park in downtown Winter Haven. There's great places to go eat. There's great places to hang out. There's a number of things you can do there, but they're all very low key. The lifestyle in Winter Haven is very low key. Now, one of the things that Winter Haven is famous for is the chain of lakes. Now, the chain of lakes is about 20 lakes that are interconnected by canals. And the coolest thing about the chain is there are probably 15 different places that you can get into the chain as far as boat slips and parks. And so you have access to the whole chain of lakes, whether you live on the chain or whether you live off the chain. Now, the other unique thing about the chain of lakes is that you can spend the whole day touring each of the lakes because of those canals. There's restaurants and bars that are there along the way, so you could literally leave at 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon and not come back until 9, 10 o'clock at night. Especially if you had like a party boat, like a pontoon boat, a big pontoon boat. You can take your friends and go, run the lake and, go out to eat, have a couple of drinks, and then come back. And so it's a really cool way to go. Now, if you're into jet skiing, water skiing, fishing, all of that, it's perfect. I do a lot of kayak fishing, and I've caught some huge bass on some of the lakes in the chain. And so that's another draw for Winter Haven, as well as being close to other things that are kind of cool to do as well. One of the things that is not really part of Winter Haven, but it's kind of close to Winter Haven in the Auburndale, Polk City area, is Fantasy of Flight. It is an aeronautical museum that's open on the weekends, and I think they're open from like 11 to 2 or something like that. But it's really cool. They've got a ton of different planes there, and you can go in and take a look at these old planes and kind of get an idea of how things have developed over the years as far as the aeronautical industry. Now, talking about planes, let's go back to Lakeland for a second, because Lakeland is host to Sun and Fun. So the Lakeland Lindner Airport is host a Sun and Fun every year. And Sun and Fun is a huge air show. It's probably one of the biggest air shows in the country. And they've had the Blue Angels there. They've had jets from the Air Force and the Navy. They've had parachuters from 82nd and 101st Airborne. We've seen all kinds of old planes come in. We've seen old bombers come in from World War II. Some of the more advanced prototype airplanes have been flown there. There's all kinds of food and tents that are set up for different organizations. My wife and my daughter actually work with an organization called AMSA, which is an aeronautical missions organization where they teach people or take pilots and get them hooked up with people in countries where they need to be able to deliver medicine and food and aid, and we do that every year. And so there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. It's not the small little venue that Fantasy of Flight is. It's really huge, and so you have tons of people that come to the air show every year. The air show lasts about 7 days. A lot of people that come in from out of state, and they camp there on the property, or they get hotel rooms close by. So it's a kind of a huge event for Lakeland. If you're looking for more of a laid back, quiet environment, then I would definitely say Winter Haven has the edge. If you're looking for kind of a combination of laid back, but also the ability to go out, do nightlife if you want, higher education, maybe more job opportunities, then I would go for Lakeland. Either way, they both have a lot to offer. I've lived in Lakeland, and I now live in Winter Haven, and I love it. And so you have a lot of different things that you can look at with both of them, but I hope this video ended up helping you to see which one would make better sense for you. So I will see you on the next video.